welcome back. Here are our top stories. A sobering testimonial from a victim of a car crash. More discussions on new ways to use mined-out lands. And NHD makes special provisions for cane workers in Monimusk. Also coming up, Sports Live, Weather Watch, entertainment news, and Inspire Jamaica. The details after the break. Thanks so much for staying with us. There is a sobering reminder this evening for all road users to practice safety on the roads. A special message was delivered at the 9th Annual Driver and Traffic Safety Expo. We have more from Irvin Forbes.
The Road Safety Expo, another attempt to reduce the incidence of crashes, especially fatal ones. The police, insurance companies, instructors, and other stakeholders making an input into the drive to increase road safety. But one young lady drove home the message in the most poignant way. In 2008, she was hit by a vehicle driven by a man who was late for an appointment.
The impact threw me from the sidewalk 21 feet down the road. And then, because he still could not gain control of the car, he ran me over. I finally came to rest somewhere across the middle of the road, where I was almost again run over by a second vehicle coming the opposite direction. I had broken bones to my right shoulder, left arm, a few of my right ribs, my right knee, left knee, right leg, which was run over, and my skull.
At the time of the incident, Miss Fitzhenley was 21 years old, a university student, netball player, church youth leader, and social work volunteer. She described in detail some of the ways that the accident has changed her life drastically.
I underwent over 20 major surgeries in the space of 2 years. I have spent over $30 million on medical procedures, products, care, drugs, as I tried to chase some form of rehabilitation and normalcy. But my body refuses to mend, all because the impact of his choice to speed was just too much for it to take and then return to any semblance of normalcy. His choice to speed has taken from me the memory of what it is like to not be in severe pain. It has taken from me my right leg, my independence, my dreams, many of my joys, my ability to have a normal life, and on some days, even my very sanity.
Transport Minister Mike Henry, who addressed the launch of the expo, re-emphasized his commitment to pushing for safe practices by the nation's drivers.
I don't think we need to talk about texting and driving with safety, and I once again make my commitment to push my colleagues as hard as possible for the new Road Traffic Act to be out in July, that we can begin with any flaws that it may have, right? We can change them as we go along, but God damn it, let us get started, right? Let us get it out there.
Irvin Forbes, CVM News.
The matter of using mined-out bauxite land for local development was again raised as several citizens received land titles for the first time in a section of Clarendon. We have more from Marjorie Gordon.
More being done with mined-out lands to aid in the country's development is being stressed by the Minister, Mike Henry. And he has since asked that the relevant agencies look into research and development of bauxite lands that can be used in the production of medicinal marijuana. At a handing over ceremony of titles in New Bowens, Clarendon, Henry promised to see where funding could be made available to support the venture.
So therefore I've charged every mining company with stepping up to the plate and beginning to move forward. We have subdivisions that are being held up. Mining companies know that they won't come back to mine for 40 years, but you're holding up the development to the people who actually own the land. So I've given fair charge, and I've taken charge of that as the main aspect of the ministerial administration and policy that I have to pursue.
Henry charged companies in the sector to increase production so as to create new jobs and development, even as he called for the assistance of mining companies with the training process once his promise to reopen the Breadnut Valley Training School has materialized. He points out, in the meantime, that the handing over of titles is one way of correcting past legacies.
Too often we confuse human rights with property rights. Too often we treat property rights with a glib of tongue. Our rights to land ownership have been trampled on for many years. I have been a consistent proponent of land ownership. That's the reason why I can say I feel proud of this step this morning.
Henry, however, bemoaned the fact that for too long, the country's small and medium-sized subdivisions are not properly developed and completed.
When the roadwork deteriorates, the developer is nowhere to be found, and the municipal council would never accept responsibility to fix them until they have approved the base. The citizens have no one to turn to for help. Hence, the only one they have is the members of parliament.
Marjorie Gordon, CVM Live.
Meanwhile, special provisions have been made by the Housing Trust to allow for home ownership by cane farm workers in the Moneymusk area of Clarendon. And we have more from Nika Lewis.
Officials from the National Housing Trust broke ground in Clarendon at the Moneymusk Country Estate this week. The chairman at the NHT, Dr. Nigel Clark, told Jamaicans the trust is working assiduously to ensure citizens can own a piece of the rock.
Our target is to start over 15,000 housing solutions across Jamaica by March 2020. For the calendar year of 2017, the NHT plans to start 5,500 housing starts in Jamaica.
It is believed there will be better social outcomes if more Jamaicans are able to own a home. The chairman explained that the Trust's housing goal for this year alone surpasses the goals for several previous years combined. But that's not all that the NHT has planned.
We plan to issue 8,500 mortgages this year to purchase homes from the NHT or in the open market, 8,500.
Speaking about the Moneymusk Country Housing Project, he said it's one of 9 developments intended for Clarendon.
This housing development that we're about to break ground on is one of 9 housing projects, Minister, 9, that we plan to break ground on in Clarendon by 2020. And by 2021, the NHT will have spent, and I want you to hear me this number, will have spent $18 billion on housing developments right here in Clarendon.
Nika Lewis, CVM Live.
A new initiative has been launched by the Caribbean Research Institute, CAPRI, to help the country tackle and find solutions to the spiraling crime problem. Some of the strategies were outlined at the official launch of the Transforming Citizen Security, a yard project last week. We have more from Marjorie Gordon.
Determined to find solutions to what is a cause for Jamaica's crime woes, CAPRI sought to take a collaborative approach to the project. Input from citizens will be sought.
We at Capri are going to be taking copious and detailed notes of your contribution to help us to build out this picture of what is the nature of the problem that we face, and then sprinkle it upon the society.
Ongoing collaborations will also be had with the 2 key state agencies responsible for crime.
We have already had discussions with the newly established National Security Agency and with the oldly established Ministry of National Security to discuss what their needs are and what is the information that they are going to be, helped with to get a better understanding of how to tackle the crime and security problem.
Dr. King adds that consultations with both major political parties will be had to get their perspectives.
A key part of the collaboration and the openness to how we are going to address this issue is reflected in the fact that the project is guided by an advisory committee, an advisory board, if you will, that we have put together, that is going to help us determine how to proceed and how to get to the solutions that we seek.
Island-wide consultations are to happen soon regarding the new JCF Act to inform about its specification while learning from best practices.
One thing we're going to do is to do an evaluation of what were the transformative interventions in Augustown. Somewhat at the other end of the experience is what is happening in Montego Bay and the rapidly changing nature of crime and security in Montego Bay. So we're going to use Montego Bay as a case study to get a better understanding of the dynamics of crime in Jamaica.
The Institute is keen on getting its work underway. Marjorie Gordon, CBM Live.
JPS has now restored service to all customers in St. Anne who were impacted by last night's fire at the Cardiff Hall substation in Runaway Bay. Crews were able to restore power before the promised restoration time of midday today. Now, in light of the damage to this substation, JPS will have to continue carrying out repairs, which may at some point result in disruption of service to customers, but the company says it will make every effort to minimize its impact. JPS is also continuing its assessment of the damage, as well as investigations into the cause of the fire. And we'll take another short break now, ahead of news from overseas.